ChatGPT continues to change the way that we work and how we do business, but you don't always have to be here within the ChatGPT interface. In this video, we're going to take a look at 3 ChatGPT extensions which make it so much easier for you to take advantage of AI. And we're going to get started right here within Google. Why? Well, Google is still the #1 website in the world. Why? Because we like to find out about things and search for new ideas. So in this example, I'm going to give it a question. When is the best time of year to raise prices for a service? Let me go ahead and hit enter on my keyboard. And of course, Google is going to come up with a number of answers, or are they? This is a blog post here. This looks like a blog post. Maybe there's something interesting within this Harvard Business Review, and we've got this drop-down menu, but wait, what do we see here on the right-hand side? Well, I've installed an extension called ChatGPT for Google, which will give you a ChatGPT response for anything that you search, either within your own address bar or within the standard Google search bar. And here you can see this is a much easier way for me to digest and skim and summarize some of the 5 key points when it comes to increasing prices. Rather than me having to go in and out of all of these articles here on the left-hand side, and let's be honest, with things such as MailChimp, FreshBooks, Forbes magazine, many of these are going to be sponsored or maybe skewed in some way. Instead, I can find information which is taking a variety of different sources and giving me a fantastic summary. But there's additional features we can take advantage of here as well. One of my favorites is the ability to instantly copy this answer in a single click. So no longer do I need to take my cursor and copy the section that I want. I can copy the entire answer in simply one click. In addition, down below, I can continue the chat down below. So here you can see that there is a Let's Chat button. If I select that option, I could say, now tell me the cons of raising prices. And remember, it's going to keep in mind everything that it just told me up above. It's not a new conversation. I am continuing the conversation that I started, and I didn't have to go anywhere else. Now, if you want to tweak some of the defaults for ChatGPT, you can come here into the gear icon. And here at the top of the options screen, the trigger mode is what I think is most important. By default, it is always going to be on, meaning anytime that you search within Google, it is going to give you a response. But if you would rather only have it give you a response when you end it with a question mark, you can choose this option here. Or lastly, you can choose the manual option as well. So if you don't want this being displayed for each and every one of your searches, you can customize it for your needs as well. Next up, let's take a look at an extension which also has some of the similar features of our first extension, but where I think it really shines is when it comes to handling your email. And for that, we're looking at an extension called ChatSonic. So here is something which is often a burden for many of us, and that is both reading and replying to email messages. And if we can use some AI to help us get through our inbox that much faster, and also perhaps sound a little more professional, or maybe help us to deal with an angry customer, well, all the better. With ChatSonic, you'll see that there is a little icon here at the top of the screen. But in my first example, we're going to take a look at a reply. So here's a fairly simple message which I've received. I'm going to come down here and hit the reply button, but you'll notice that things look very different down below. First of all, you can see that there is a brief reply prompt here. And all I'm going to do is give it some very basic information. I'm going to say, it will arrive Friday. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Now, of course, there is no way that I would reply this way to an actual customer. I need to show some more caring. I need to show some more specifics when it comes to replying to this request. All I need to do is come over to the right and select reply, and ChatSonic will quickly give a professional response complete with the details that I've added here. Now, a couple of great things that can cut down on time. You'll notice that I can change the tone of this message as well. So if I don't want to sound quite so positive, I can select neutral and then select re-reply, and it will just slightly change the tone of this particular message. But remember, it has addressed everything up above, and it's included the shipping date, which I stated here with "it will arrive on Friday." So not only can you play around with the tone, but even if I leave it at neutral, I can hit re-reply as often as I like, and it will continue to adjust and slightly modify the message below until I see something that I like. But probably for efficiency, it would be better just to change some single words that you would like before hitting the send button. This might just be the fastest way to reply and or create your own messages. If I come up here to compose, you'll see that we still have that CS, that ChatSonic logo here as well. So I'm going to select that in this case. I'm going to say write an email to my VA about our meeting next Monday, something along those terms there. And here you'll also see that we still have that tone available to us. In fact, within this dropdown, we have many more options available to us as well. Since I'm discussing something with my virtual assistant, I'm going to say casual in this case, and I'm going to select write. And not only will it write the message itself, but it will also include the subject line above as well. But there's one more killer feature which can help you save a whole lot of time, especially if you haven't been in your inbox for a while, or if you see a message like this which has a lengthy thread. Now, I realize 5 emails actually isn't that lengthy, but I'm going to use this one as an example. Let's say that I've just woken up and started into my email, and there's been a bunch of back and forth from my other coworkers or clients that I haven't yet seen. Or worse yet, what if I come back from a holiday or vacation and there's a number of messages in a lengthy thread? Well, if I open this up and start to expand it, there's an awful lot to get through here. These are lengthy emails with a lot of detail. But if I come back to my inbox, what if I could find out what was going on in that email without even having to open it up? Here again, you can see as I hover over each message, there is that ChatSonic logo. And if I select it, what it's going to do is give me an executive summary of the entire thread. So in just a moment here, I've got a single paragraph which is telling me exactly what happened throughout the entire thread, including who said what and what the final outcome was here. Now, rather than reading something that was at least 6 times this length, I've got the entire message here at my fingertips. You'll notice that it also has a tab called Timeline. So if I want a quick recap as to when these messages were sent, I can do so as well. But coming back to the executive summary, an added benefit is that I can come down here and select reply. So I don't even have to go into this message or into this email. I can reply with a thoughtful response or continue to use ChatSonic and give an AI reply, or at least get me started with my response. Now, the last extension on our list is going to bring us back to the ChatGPT interface, but for good reason. It is going to turn our regular ChatGPT interface from what you see here into something so much more powerful. What we are using is an extension called AIPRM for ChatGPT. And what this is all about is giving us a number of much more detailed prompts so we don't have to give so much instruction, And we can take advantage of some very complicated prompts for our business purposes. So here you can see I've got a number of different prompts available to me here, including the ability to write an optimized article, the ability to create a buyer persona, for example, and all I have to do is give it a few pieces of information. So for example, maybe I want a monthly content calendar and I only want to do it in as few clicks as possible. All I need to do is select this prompt here, and now down below you can see that that title has been input. At the very bottom where the cursor is displayed, it's going to tell me what type of information it is looking for. So what is the primary keyword that I want to create content for? Well, let's say that I am a cleaning service agency. That's the keyword that I'm looking for, or let's just say cleaning services in this case, and I'm going to hit enter. So all I had to do was give it 2 words, but what it is going to do is give me a number of content ideas so I can plan for the coming month or maybe several weeks in advance. So immediately it's given me a nice table, which has given me a number of fantastic titles, a number of fantastic themes that I could turn into a blog article, a social media post. Many of these could be a YouTube video if you wanted to, a number of fantastic ideas, and all I had to do was type in cleaning services. If I come back to the top and select new chat, once again, I will be given this full list of prompts. Now you'll notice that there is over 2,500 different prompts. So what you're going to want to do is use this search bar in the right-hand corner. We've already seen this buyer persona legend, but what if I type in the word persona again and hit enter? You'll see that there's actually 65 prompts that are related to a persona. And within each prompt, not only will you be given a brief description, but you'll also see how many people have viewed it, how many people have actually used it, and there's also a thumbs up, thumbs down. So how many people have voted on it as well. So in this case, why don't I stick with the one with the most votes, this buyer persona legend. I'm going to click on it, and down below, again, it is only needing some very simple information. Keep in mind that this prompt contains an awful lot of detail, and not only would we waste a lot of our time trying to include that detail, we probably couldn't come up with the same results. So this is the real power of the AIPRM extension. So what does our business sell? I'm going to say that we sell business consulting to bookkeepers in, and let's say Orlando, Florida. I probably didn't even have to say Florida, but I'm going to say Orlando, Florida. And in a matter of seconds, it's given me a complete user persona, something that I can start to use either for my own marketing purposes, or maybe I'm researching for a client. So here I've got a complete demographic with name, age, annual income, even their family or marital status. Down below, I've got further information, including things such as their personal aspirations or their biggest pain points. I've got information on their shopping behaviors, including some of their preferred brands and maybe some of the search terms that they use most often. So this can be a fantastic starting place for creating a user persona or using this information with the clients that you serve. Now, to get started with any of these extensions, be sure to check out the links in the description down below. And if you have further questions about AI or ChatGPT and your business, be sure to let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.